The dropship rattled as it descended through Veltok Prime's heavy atmosphere. Acidic clouds scraped the hull. Inside, Lieutenant Sara Voss sat between two hulking reptilian recruits who hadn't said a word to her. They didn't need to. They'd all seen her species file. Terran. Human. Physiology weak. Emotionally volatile. Primitive pack intelligence. She caught one of them staring. He grunted in low tones to the other. Sara didn't understand the dialect, but she recognized laughter. She looked forward. Let them laugh. The ship touched down with a metallic slam. The hatch dropped. Heat and pressure hit like a wall. Veltok wasn't just hostile, it was alive, waiting to kill something. A Korthari commander stood at the base of the ramp, flanked by twin plasma pikes tall, broad-shouldered. His scaled face bore a permanent sneer. His name was already legend. Commander Vectauran. Disembark, he barked. Line up by species. Lowest biomass to the left. Sara stepped down, boots sinking slightly into dark red soil. She fell in beside insectoids and avians, smallest by size, easiest to dismiss. Eyes followed her. Vex scanned the recruits. When his gaze landed on her, his lip curled. A human, he said slowly, tasting the word like something rotten. The Concord grows desperate. No one laughed. Not openly. But the silence was heavy with judgment. The first trial was physical, combat assessment. A circular pit. No weapons. No rules. Just instinct. Sara was matched against a Sornak brute twice her mass. The alien came at her in a blur, powerful, fast, brutal. She dodged the first two swipes but took the third across her ribs. Pain bloomed instantly. She rolled, came up low, and jabbed two fingers into the Sornak's throat slit. He stumbled, choking. She spun, kicked out his knee, and dropped him. She didn't finish the fight. Just stood there, breathing hard. Watching. Vec descended into the pit. That's your strategy? Wait to be hit, then scramble like prey? I disabled him without killing, she said, voice steady. You humiliated yourself. He turned to the crowd. See how they survive, through pity and panic. No one challenged him. Later in the barracks, her new squad, Unit 17, was waiting. Mismatched armor. Lazy posture. Eyes that avoided each other. No cohesion. They looked at her like she was a misplaced ration box. You the Terran? Asked a wiry, four-eyed creature named Zer. Why'd they send a flesh thing to our graveyard? Sara dropped her gear onto the cot. Maybe they're hoping I last longer than you. Silence. Then quiet chuckles. Over the next 2 days, Sara learned that 17 wasn't just a squad. It was the squad for leftovers, those who failed psych evals, lost limbs in training, or didn't understand command structures. Vec had dumped her here on purpose. She said little. Watched everything. Zer was fast but twitchy. The Larty, an aquatic species in a clunky exorig, was strong but couldn't process heat fast enough. The Varnksy twins bickered constantly, even in combat. None of them respected her. Yet. The navigation trial changed that. The squad was dropped into Veltok's low canyons with one map and a broken locator. Standard test. Find the extraction point in under 6 hours before heat stroke or predators did the sorting. Zer ran ahead. The twins argued about direction. The Larty, Kale, fell behind quickly, struggling with oxygen loss. Sara doubled back. Found him collapsed under an overhang, breathing shallow. Leave me, he rasped. Dead weight. No, she said, pulling him up. Dead weight doesn't speak. She rigged a sling using her harness and half-carried him the last kilometer. When they reached the extraction site, the rest of the squad was there, eating rations. Zer smirked. Look at the Terran nurse. Sara dropped Kale gently. You ran. I led. Big difference. He didn't answer. That night, the moons rose crimson over Veltok's jagged skyline. Sara sat outside the barracks alone, armor stripped down, arms resting on her knees. She could still see her brother's face. The last time she'd seen him, eyes wide, body shaking, trapped under burning debris while alien raiders stormed Earth's outer defense line. He'd begged her to run. She didn't. She'd frozen. And he'd died. That's what fear did. It stole the moment you were needed most. Not again. Movement in the tree line. Quiet. Large. Sara rose slowly. Hand on her belt knife, breath even. A shape loomed just beyond the clearing, a massive predator. Over 3 meters tall at the shoulder. Scaled. 6-legged. Orange eyes like fire coals. A Varnak. It watched her. Not hunting. Just watching. She didn't move. Didn't flinch. The beast lingered, then melted back into the jungle. Behind her, Kale stood at the doorway, wide-eyed. Was that? Yes. You should have sounded the alarm. No. Why? Sara looked at him. Because it didn't see prey. By morning, rumors had spread. Some recruits claimed she hallucinated. Others said she was lying. But Kale said nothing. Neither did Sara. Commander Vex summoned Squad 17 at midday. New assignment, he said, pacing before them. Field exercise. Full immersion. Jungle sim. Live rounds. No supervision. Sara didn't miss the look he gave her. Maps corrupted. Terrain's real. You find your way back, you pass. You don't. He grinned. Then you'll have proven what I already know. Sara met his gaze. You look nervous, Commander, she said softly. He flinched. Just slightly. The jungle pressed in like a living organism. Vines hung thick across the branches. The trees bled black sap. Even the wind felt angry. Sara moved with measured steps, her squad trailing behind in staggered formation. No drones. No comm uplinks. No satellite support. Vec had made sure of that. This wasn't a simulation. This was exile. Zur walked ahead, blades drawn, twitching at every sound. You hear that? He asked, barely above a whisper. It's a jungle, Sara replied. It's supposed to make noise. Too much noise, muttered Kale from the rear, his exosuit vents clicking under the heat. The Varnksy twins, armored head to toe, bickered softly behind her. We're being watched, one of them said. The other muttered. That's what eyes are for, idiot. Sara paused. She knelt and pressed her hand to the ground. It vibrated barely. A pattern. Heavy. Deliberate. Something big. Hold, she said, rising. Zur rolled his eyes. Terran paranoia. He took 2 more steps, then stopped cold. Something had moved. Not rustled. Not stalked. Shifted. A ripple through the underbrush. Leaves trembled. Then silence. Eyes up, Sara ordered. A guttural snarl echoed from somewhere ahead. Kale, she said. Thermal scan. Negative, Kale replied. It's too cold. Whatever it is, it's masking. Her stomach sank. Varnaks didn't mask. Unless they were hunting. They moved faster now, but not carelessly. Sara marked every ridge, noted every dead patch in the foliage. The tension held like a taut wire. She could feel the jungle narrowing around them. 3 hours in, they found the remains. A clawed exosuit. Torn apart. Blood streaks dragged into the trees. Not simulated. Not staged. Zur stared at it. That's Rultar gear. From Squad 9. Sara nodded. Vec's been busy. What's that supposed to mean? It means he didn't send us here to pass. She turned to Kale. Status? 2 of us are overheating. One's close to panic. Sara faced the group. We stay together. We keep moving. But quietly. No charging, no yelling, and no fighting over who's in charge. Zur snorted. No offense, but when we need a leader, we'll pick one that can actually break something. Funny, Sara said. You've done nothing but talk since we landed. Haven't seen you break anything but protocol. Before he could answer, something slammed into the tree hard. The group froze. A low growl rolled through the clearing like thunder. Then silence. One of the twins bolted. Wait! Sara shouted. Too late. The jungle swallowed him. Then came the sound, bones cracking. Wet. Final. Sir went pale. Sara stepped toward him. Still want to pick the next leader? Night on Veltok was darker than most planets' nights. The air grew colder, but the pressure didn't ease. They built no fire. Just huddled under dense canopy, sharing body heat where possible. Sara kept watch. The jungle around them never stopped breathing. Kale crept up beside her. You're too calm. Would panic help? No. But it would feel more honest. Sara looked at him. I'm not calm. I'm focused. Focused on what? Surviving. That means thinking like the thing hunting us. Kale hesitated. What do you think it wants? She didn't answer right away. Not food, she said eventually. A predator this efficient doesn't kill just to eat. It kills to remove threats. Kale nodded, slowly. And we're in its territory. At dawn, the group was smaller. The other twin had vanished overnight. No struggle. No trace. Sara stood alone near the edge of their camp. No sleep. Muscles stiff. Eyes scanning. It stepped into view without warning. The Varnak. Massive. Six-limbed. Eyes glowing faint orange in the low light. Scars ran across its snout like ancient carvings. It was close enough that she could hear it breathe, slow and quiet. The others didn't move. No one spoke. Sara didn't reach for a weapon. She didn't step back. She stood tall, but not aggressive. Her heartbeat slowed, not quickened. The Varnak took a step closer. Then another. Sir whimpered behind her. It's going to kill us, he whispered. Sara raised a hand, not toward the beast, but toward her squad. Stay still. The Varnak lowered its head slightly. It wasn't submission. It was acknowledgement. A whisper curled into her thoughts, not sound, but presence. You are not prey. Sara's breath hitched, but she didn't break eye contact. You lead. The others follow. You do not scream. She blinked once. Slowly. I'm not here to conquer you, she said aloud. Just survive. The Varnak circled her once. Close enough for its breath to warm her skin. Then it turned. And sat. Watching the squad. Not as a hunter. As a sentinel. They moved at midday. Quietly. With the Varnak behind them. No one spoke. Not even Zur. Kale finally asked, voice raw. Why is it following you? Sara looked ahead. Because I didn't treat it like a beast. That simple? No, she said. But it's a start. They emerged from the jungle hours later, bleeding, broken, and missing half their unit. Waiting at the edge was Commander Vec. He smiled when he saw the squad. Then stopped cold when he saw the Varnak. It stood just behind Sara. Silent. Watching. Vec's voice dropped. What have you done? Sara met his gaze. I passed your test. No. That thing chose not to kill us. Which is more than you can say. Vec stepped forward. The Varnak growled, low and final. Vec froze. Sara walked past him, the beast falling into step beside her. Next time, she said, not looking back. Send something harder. The tribunal chamber was colder than the jungle had ever been. Its smooth walls reflected no sound, no warmth. Just judgment. Sara stood at the center, dirt-streaked, bruised, still in torn gear. Her squad flanked her in silence, faces drawn. Kale's exosuit was cracked across the chest. Sir, for once, didn't have anything to say. Across from them sat the High Council of the Legion. 12 species. 12 sets of eyes, none of them human. Commander Vec stood off to the side, polished, perfect, untouched by Veltok's wilds. He projected calm, but Sara saw the stiffness in his jaw. He hadn't expected her to survive. He especially hadn't expected her to return with the Varnak. It waited outside, quiet but present. Security had begged to tranquilize it. Sara refused. It follows on its own. No leash. No cage. Vec stepped forward to speak. Esteemed counselors, I submit that Lieutenant Voss has violated interspecies training law by interfering with a native apex predator. There's no protocol that permits bonding with hostile fauna. This was manipulation. Reckless. A calculated stunt to elevate her standing. Sara stayed quiet. Let him dig. She risked the lives of her squad, defied the mission's parameters, and weaponized a species designated as Class 9 threat level. The Varnak is not a pet. It's a planetary danger. One counselor, a tall, thin Igral, tilted his head. Commander Vec, did you authorize the use of live apex threats in a recruit exercise? Vec hesitated. It was a controlled variable. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Sara stepped forward. It wasn't controlled. You sent a predator into an unarmed recruit test to eliminate me. Gasps. Vec's eyes narrowed. I was testing adaptability, he said. We weed out weakness. She survived. That should satisfy the record. Sara turned to the council. I didn't survive because I fought harder. I survived because I understood. I observed, I adapted, and I didn't escalate. The Varnak responded to calm and intent. It recognized leadership, not through dominance, but control. Kale stepped up beside her. She didn't manipulate it. She earned it. Vec scoffed. Earned? The beast is a killer. It has no concept of loyalty. Sara looked toward the door. Heavy footsteps echoed in the corridor. Every guard near the entrance took a step back. The Varnak entered. Its head brushed the ceiling. Its eyes scanned the room, then settled on Sara. No one spoke. Weapons were half raised. No one moved. The Varnak crossed the floor. Slowly. Deliberately. And lowered its massive frame into a seated position at her side. Then, before the entire council, it dipped its head. A bow. A silence deeper than the jungle filled the hall. Then a sound. Not spoken. Not heard. Felt. She does not conquer. She does not fear. She leads. The voice entered each mind in the chamber, old and heavy with thought. Others rage. She listens. Sara kept her eyes forward. She didn't ask me to follow, the Varnak said. I chose. A brow counselor blinked slowly. But why? Because for once, I was not treated as a monster. The Igro rose. Commander Vec. You introduced a Class 9 predator into a live exercise with no authorization. Do you deny this? Vec's mouth opened. Closed. It was for training. Training doesn't include premeditated execution. Enough, said a gravel-voiced Kroth. He's finished. Two guards approached Vec. He didn't resist. His eyes stayed on Sara as he was led away. There was no hatred in them. Only disbelief. Hours later, the chamber was empty. Sara remained, standing near the open archway, arms folded. The Varnak stood beside her, watching the moons rise beyond the distant cliffs. Kale approached with a data pad. Your promotion order just came through. They want you on the instructor path. Of course they do. You earned it. Sara didn't answer. Kale hesitated. You don't feel like celebrating? I'm not sure what I feel. Regret? No, she said. Not that. He followed her gaze to the horizon. The others will talk. Whisper about the Terran who controls beasts. I don't control it, she said. I lead. It chooses. Kale nodded. That might scare them more. Weeks passed. The crucible changed. Slowly. Sara now trained new units in adaptive strategy. Her squad, what remained of it, stood with her, respected and quiet. The Varnak remained on the outskirts. Watching. Never interfering. But present. It had become something else entirely, guardian, myth, symbol. And still, it followed no one else. On the first day of her second training cycle, she walked the open drill field with her cadets in formation. Behind them, whispers buzzed like wind in dry grass. Is that her? The Terran? She commands it without command. A new recruit leaned toward his neighbor. They laughed when she joined. The other whispered back. Now even the monsters kneel.